Creating a budget can be easy so long as you mark out all the steps that you need to take and take those in succession until you have reached the budget that you desire. I have went ahead and created this list of 27 steps that it's going to take us to successfully create a budget in the easiest way that we can. The first step into creating a budget is to getting a calendar. This is a great tool to help us organize the important dates having to do with the money we make and the money we're going to have to spend. I've already gone out and gotten a planner. This is a great planner to use. It's got the days in which we can write down what we have to do so that when we come to this day, we know exactly what's going to happen. And if we want to view a little bit more broadly, we have a calendar also here so we can mark important dates on here. So let's go ahead and check off that step. Step number 1, complete. Step numbers 2 and 3 have to do with finding out when you get paid for the work that you've done. If you have a job, you will start at step number 2. You will go ahead and ask your boss when it is that you get paid. I do have a job, and I already know that I get paid every other Tuesday of each month, so I can go ahead and check off step number 2. If you do not have a job, you will skip step 2 immediately and go on to step 3. In step 3, you can ask your parents about your allowance that you get every week and when you will get that. Of course, if you have a job, then you can go ahead and skip step 3, which I do, so I will go ahead and skip step 3. Go ahead and check that off. All right. Step 4 is writing down when you get paid in your calendar. So we can go ahead and get this ready for us. Okay. I get paid every other Tuesday, so the 30th is the next time I'll get paid, eh? Okay. The next time will be May 14th. The next time, 28th. Now that we've completed step 4, we can check that off as well. Step 5 is about finding out how much money you get on your paydays. To do this, we're going to have to do a little bit of estimation. You can take an average of your last 3 paychecks or last 3 paydays, and finding that average will give you an idea on what to expect for your next one. The first thing to do for that is to find the last 3 times you got paid and write down those amounts of money. Now, this is a good lesson on why you should always keep your paychecks, your pay stubs. Of course, if you make an allowance as opposed to having a job, your pay will probably be the same. Your parents will give you the same amount of money every week. However, if you have a job, then it might be a little bit different. You might make not exactly the same amount every month. So it's good to keep your paychecks so that you have this reference for the future. What a lot of people do are they have review lists online through some website, through some employee portal. So that's what we're going to be using for this. I have this pulled up right here. I have my latest paychecks pulled up right here. And we will take the most recent 3 and write those down. Now that we've written down those 3 most recent pay amounts, we can go ahead and cross off number 5. Step number 6 is to add these 3 paydays. This is the first step into taking the average of these 3 paydays. So we'll grab our calculator. Okay. We'll add 475, or your first pay, plus your second, which for me is 419.86, and your third for me being 447.11. And that is the total right there. We can go ahead and check off number 6. Number 7 is to take our total, which is this new number, and divide it by 3. So we can take our calculator out again. 1342.19 divided by 3 is this number. We can round these digits to the first 2 right here. So this equals 447.39. Now that we've completed this division and our average, we can check off number 7. Now that we have an average of the amount of money we will receive from each payday, we can go ahead and write this down on a separate sheet of paper so that we don't forget it. This will be the sheet of paper we use for creating our budget. This average is $447.39. Of course, your average might be different, but this is the one we will use for this example. Since we've gone ahead and written down on our budget sheet, we can cross off number 8. Step number 9 is to make sure that we always put our budget sheet and our calendar in the same place so that we keep all of our documents regarding our budget together. Since we've gone ahead and done that, we can go ahead and cross off step number 9. Step number 10 is to find out how many times you will get paid each month. To do this, you can ask your parents if you are getting an allowance, how often you'll get your allowance, whether that's every week or every 2 weeks, and then you'll find out how many times that is per month. Or if you have a job, you can ask your boss or check your pay stubs and see in the future how often you'll get your paychecks. For me, I get paid every 2 weeks, and there are 4 weeks in every month, so I get paid every 2 weeks. Let's write this down for some more math. Writing this down takes care of number 11. Step number 12 is to multiply this amount of times you get paid times your average. So we will do that. Let's get the calculator back out for this. 2 times 447.39 is 894.78. That takes care of step 12. Let's check that off. Let's record this new number on our budget sheet so that we always have it and don't forget it. 894.78. Of course, like I said, this could be different for you, but for our example, this is going to be the number we are going to use. This is the average pay you'll get per month. Now that we've done that, we can cross off step 13. Next on our budget sheet, let's write down the amount of costs we are going to have per month. These are the kinds of things like rent, like car insurance, anything that is going to be a consistent amount of money that you have to take out of the amount you've been paid. For this example, we will use rent, and car insurance. Of course, your costs may vary, but for this example, these are the costs we are going to use. So, say your rent is $350. And say your car insurance costs $50. Step 14, let's check it off. Next, we have step 15, which is to determine when you have to pay your bills. A lot of the time, your rent and or insurance costs will come at the beginning of the month. However, this may vary. You can talk to your parents and your insurance providers and all the people you have to pay your bills to about when you have to pay these costs. For me, I pay my rent on the first of the month, and I pay my car insurance at the end of the month. So, let's write these down on our calendar. So for May, I have to pay my rent here at the beginning of the month. And I have to pay my car insurance here at the end of the month. Now that we've determined when we have to pay our bills, and now that we've written them down on the calendar, we can go ahead and cross off steps 15 and 16. We've also determined how much our bills are going to cost, so that takes care of step 17. Step 18 is finding out how many times you have to pay your bill per month. Some bills you have to pay more than once every month. Most bills, however, are going to be paid one time a month. In our example, we only have 2 bills and we pay each of them once a month. The car insurance and our rent. If you have bills that you happen to have to pay more than once a month, you will write these down on your calendar as well, and you will make sure that you pay those at the appropriate times. This takes care of step 18. Our next step, step 19, is to multiply our costs by the amount of times we have to pay them each month. In our example, we have our 2 bills, rent and car insurance. So, since we only have to pay rent one time a month, we will multiply the rent cost times 1. Now, that takes care of step 19. And step 20 is to repeat this same process for each bill we have. So the only other bill we have is the car insurance cost, which again is only one time a month. If your bills happen to be have to be on a schedule where you pay them more than once per month, this number might be different. However, in our example, we only pay each bill one time a month. So let's go ahead and multiply these out. This equals 350 and 50. This takes care of step number 20. And step 21 is to add our total cost. So let's add this together, and this equals $400. So now we have our total monthly cost for the month. Make sure you identify this because this is very, very important. Now that we have our totals, we can cross off step 21. Our next step, 22, is to subtract this total from the amount of money we will make every month. Now that we have our monthly cost and our monthly income, all we have to do is subtract our cost from our income to know how much money we have to spend every month. So if we take $894.78 and subtract $400 from that, we get $494.78. And this takes care of step 22. Step 23 is about saving your money. So, after our bills have been taken care of, this is how much money we have left. Now, a lot of times your parents or your friends or other members of your family will recommend that you save some of your money so that you have it for later. So, since we have such a good amount of money left, let's go ahead and save $100. Make sure we put this on our budget sheet. And if we subtract 100 from 494, that tells us how much extra money we have left over after we decide to put $100 in savings every month. So, if we subtract 100 from 494 and 7.78, that leaves us with $394.78. And this takes care of step 23. Now, however much you want to save is totally up to you. I'm just using $100 as the example. Now that we've subtracted, we can go ahead and cross off step 24, which is to subtract that amount you'd like to save from your monthly income. Okay. Step 25 is to acknowledge this is the amount of money we have left after every month to spend. So let's make sure we circle that. Now that we've acknowledged that, we can cross off step 25. Finally, our last 2 steps are to acknowledge if and when any of these circumstances change. If you end up making more money at some point, as in you get a raise, or maybe you take a different job and you make less, that is going to affect your budget. So whenever that happens, you have to recomplete all these steps to create a new budget. The same goes for if the time period in which you get paid changes. So maybe you get, say, a different job, or your parents decide that they want to pay you on a different day. that is going to affect your budget in your calendar, and you will have to redo all the steps yet once again. Let's cross off these last 2 steps. This completes creating a budget. Thank you.